This week's business update, we have Jeff Bezos' Blue Origins company is offering seats if you are interested in going to space. So we'll talk about that later. Next, we have the conclusion of the fight between Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul, the big YouTuber. The fight was a big draw. Now, was it a successful one? We'll talk about it in a bit. Next, we have Apple's Project Titan, wherein it's trying to make its first ever electric vehicle. So how are they going to achieve that? And finally, we have Amazon's e-commerce platform. They are in hot water for selling fake vaccine cards. How are they able to, do this, and what's going to happen? Anyway, so for our first topic, we have, as mentioned, Blue Origin, the company which is owned by Jeff Bezos, who's trying to capitalize on going into space. Now, obviously, the company of Jeff Bezos, Blue Origin, is competing with the company of Elon Musk's SpaceX. Now, whoever gets to go to space first, so obviously, it's not just for tourism purposes, but as well as being able to, I don't know, maybe mine precious materials in outer space, or even in going to as far as to the moon, but we don't know. So here we have, according to moneycontrol.com, here, yes, and it mentions here that the company is offering seats for the public consumer in a bidding contest. So the catch here is you can go to space along with Mr. Jeff Bezos. So it's a first come first serve. So the amount it's being set right now is already reaching at $4 million. Now, I don't know who's smart enough to consider paying $4 million to go to space. And I can't imagine what are you supposed to do in space when you go up, and then how long are you supposed to stay in outer space, and then come back down to Earth for, I don't know, minutes or hours. I don't know. But anyway, so people are lining up, people are bidding, so meaning there's a demand for that one. But anyway, so the process is by going through a live auction, which will conclude a month-long process, bidding process. So to have the privilege of having a seat and a sightseeing trip with Jeff Bezos, the former CEO of Amazon, the company. Now, it's planned to launch sometime next month at July 22nd. So obviously, it has major repercussions if there's a high enough demand. Now, question is how much is it going to cost for regular people if they're really interested in going to space, or is it just going to be for the really uber rich who can afford to go to space? Can't imagine what would be the catch here if the selling point of going in outer space for a small period of time. But it is what it is. Anyway, so there are actually 6,000 people who were vying for the what do you call this? Vying for the seat, which spans across 143 countries worldwide. So question is, who will be the first one to embark on this journey? Now, the funds that's going to be raised here was mentioned that's going to be earmarked for charity here. Now, obviously, the optimism in this race is based on the possibility of the space travel in the future will be popular, similar to how traveling overseas, through whether to different continents around the world, is a big, multi-billion or trillion-dollar industry. But the question is how exciting will it be, or will it be exciting enough to create a big demand for this one? But according to UBS here, they're estimating that there could be a $3 billion annual tourism by end of 2030. Now, how realistic is that? In my opinion, I think just going to space will not be enough to convince people to to pursue or to travel that far. And if it's going to, you pay a lot, but you stay there for a short period of time, maybe unless they have a point of destination to visit. Let's say maybe what do you call this? Not, maybe decades into the future, or maybe not in our lifetime, going to other planets, visiting other planets, and so forth, or go to the space station. Sort of like a theme park of sorts, so you can visit the space station and stay there for a few days, a few nights, and so forth. And then you can see Earth, how it is on space, and you can see the space and the sun, all of those things. Now, obviously, it's going to be a logistical nightmare if it's become a tourist spots, going to space, going to a space station. But that would be a compelling case, or even maybe build a livable space in outer space, not just being able to visit there for a short time, but maybe even live in outer space. So we're going into the realm of possibility, similar to how science fiction has collided with reality here. So we're getting to the point that it's getting closer and closer to the point that what we see in films may be a possibility in reality here. But obviously, that's still a long ways to go here. Now, obviously, there is still issues with regards to traveling into space, let alone going out outer space, is the cost of fuel, and obviously that's why the prices are sky high in with regards. And but if it's done properly, obviously, not just the cost but also the safety issues that was mentioned here, that if you remember the accident that happened before with the space shuttle, was it Endeavor? I forgot which one of the missions where all the astronauts were killed in that accident. So obviously, unless you can ensure the safety of all passengers or people concerned, especially traveling to and from, as you can see in many films, that how catastrophic it can be. With one small problem could lead to a bigger problem. But anyway, so it was mentioned here that they're planning to charge passengers in the sum of 200,000. Now again, 200,000 is still a lot of money. I mean, you could use that money to pay for first class ticket and go around the world, and it's still way cheaper than paying for a seat to go to space. Just like, I think the one that, I don't know what they call it, but they can simulate space travel or weightlessness when the airplane goes high above, and then when it goes down, it simulates uh, low gravity here. But anyway, so we'll have to wait and see how it pans out here. Next, we have here regarding the fight between Floyd Mayweather and Mr. Logan Paul. Now, what's interesting here, the fight here, I got interested. I didn't watch the fight itself, but the fact that Logan Paul is creating a lot of hype. Obviously, the big YouTuber here has a strong following in the social media community. On the other hand, fighting known fighters, whether in the UFC now, in the boxing world, with regards to Mr. Floyd Mayweather, on the other hand, who is a undefeated champion in his weight class, which is kind of interesting, whether between the boxing community versus the entertainment are merging here, because both of them made a lot of money with this endeavor. So at the end of the day, the audience got what they were looking for in terms of the hype, in terms of a big inexperienced or novice YouTuber with Mr. Logan Paul being able to withstand the prowess, even though Mr. Floyd Mayweather has been retired for several years. But obviously, if you look at their physical comparison, Logan Paul is significantly much larger, bigger, and longer in terms of reach compared to Mr. Floyd Mayweather, who is more a tactician in terms of being able to stay away from danger, meaning being able to move fast and not being able to hit as much if you're going up against a several weight class and up. And in the case here, the result was not surprising in a sense. I mean, there were lots of hype that could Logan Paul beat out the former heavyweight, not heavyweight champion, but the former champion here, and it got a lot of traction. So that in a sense that a lot of people were expecting to see a good fight, which you know it went through the distance. So technically, people got what they asked for. Now, were they looking for a beat down, a knockdown on either parties? You know, is it a sham of sorts? It's difficult to say, but at the end of the day, paying for $50 for an event, to see them fight head to head. I think this is the best case scenario. See, either way, at least Floyd Mayweather's what do you call this? Reputation is untainted, still undefeated, and for Logan Paul, it just goes to show, size does matter, and he was able to, stay with toe to toe with Mr. Floyd Mayweather. Now, in terms of the event itself, it was mentioned. Where was it? Sorry, not this one. There you go. It was mentioned that there was a snafu with regards to the fight in terms of a power outage, which I think Showtime was holding the service here for the pay-per-view, and affected several customers in different regions. Now, thankfully, actually, they couldn't find out what was the main problem here. But the event or the match still proceeded here. Now, the outage happened, as mentioned, before the main event. So the fight commenced before midnight at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. Now, obviously, people are allowed to congregate in Florida with the vaccine and everything. Now, what's interesting here, I think they earned tens of millions of dollars here. I think it was mentioned that Mr. Floyd Mayweather earned at least $100 million here being able to fight. He mentioned in a previous interview that fighting in a regular fight, in 12 round fight, he got less money than in this pay-per-view fight that they had. So obviously it made sense for them to do the fight. As for the audience, a draw, in a sense, a tie may not satisfy or show a conclusive winner. Maybe there will be a rematch, get more money, get more people to watch the fight, a part two, so to speak. So until they can find an eventual winner. So it's entertainment, right? As long as people are entertained, they get paid what they get entertained for what they paid for. I think it's a win-win for everyone, and obviously it gives more credence or more change in their pockets for those two fighters here. Anyway, next we have Apple's big ambitious goal of diversifying their core business, not just focusing on smartphones, which they have a big monopoly in the Northern American region, as well as in the apps, but in the Apple App Store, which generating millions and billions of dollars. They're now planning to go into the car manufacturing business, which is producing the first ever electric vehicle, and they're planning to do that by investing a lot of money in the production and design, as well as hiring knowledgeable as well as capable people to handle the project here. And one such hire is Mr. What's his name? Ulrich Krantz, former BMW executive, who's going to help Project Titan here. So obviously, Apple has big ambitions. Where was it? So Apple has big ambitions to create the first ever car or electric vehicle in their history by getting the best people as well as their people within the company to produce the electric vehicle that can cater to all of their Apple customers worldwide. Now, Kranz is a former Kranz is a former executive in BMW, as well as hiring Doug Field, a former Tesla executive, which is now heading the Apple's electric vehicle Project Titan. So, meaning getting several, competent or exemplary people to help them along is a big deal. Now, obviously, they've talked to several car manufacturers at the beginning to it made sense to partner with them because obviously Apple is not a car manufacturing company, so they don't have the expertise, the technical background to be able to produce a car itself, but they have the technical background in terms of designing what an Apple car should look like. So that would be an interesting case. Now they've talked to Kia, Nissan, Hyundai as possible partnership, but obviously that didn't pan out. I think Kia is going to partner with them. Is it Kia? I forgot. I think they are going to partner with a small car. I forgot which one. Is it Kia or is it Hyundai? I don't know which one. But anyway, so the point here is obviously it made sense for Apple and whichever car manufacturer to partner with them so that they could take advantage of the advanced technology that Apple's bring to the table, and obviously the car manufacturer can help Apple bridge those gaps that what they lack in the manufacturing aspect and bring them along the way. Now the problem here is, will it be a beneficial long-term solution? Because eventually Apple will make their own vehicles, and obviously if Kia, Nissan, and Hyundai or other car manufacturers have plans or ambitions of going to the electric vehicle, which some of them are already doing right now, would in essence competing with one another. So is it a good partnership for them? So we'll see how it pans out. But the key point here is, like with Mr. Kran's hiring here is pretty significant. Obviously, his background of 30 years being in with BMW is a big plus, and obviously, Apple's plan for global domination in terms of providing more products for their ecosystem, for their customers' ecosystem now, not just providing smartphones, but vehicle, eventually maybe even to household items and so more household items. Anyway, so what's interesting here, the company has recently patented several vehicular features, so it's going to be interesting what type of feature they're going to offer. Is it similar to other car manufacturers, or is it similar to how Tesla is approaching, or maybe they'll offer something totally different, especially being able to integrate Apple devices in their cars. I think that would benefit the consumers. Now, how do you engage other non-Apple users to buy your vehicle is another big issue that they need to consider uh, along the way. Anyway, so there was reports that Apple is planning to release the first EV vehicle as early as 2024. So that's 3 years away. So it's very soon now. How fast can they do it? And similar to how Apple is having troubles right now, being able to churn out as many vehicles is one thing, and then having what do you call a reliable vehicle is another one. But obviously, my concerns with regards to electric vehicle, because of the software integration with Apple, or in Tesla's case, being able to control what consumers can and cannot use in the vehicles, it's a big concern in my part. I don't know, what do you think? Obviously, having total control in the manufacturing and in the software aspect can be problematic if you're a consumer, because based on Apple's track record, with smartphones, they try to manipulate the battery life of your phones by updating so that it doesn't charge as fast, doesn't hold as much battery capacity. So you'll be what do you call this? You'll be recommended to purchase a new one. So imagine that in a car vehicle here, and that would be catastrophic if we don't get to have a say in terms of if I want to update it or replace a battery. Do we have to replace a new vehicle just to be able to solve a problem and so forth? But we have to see if how fast we get to that point. And finally, we have Amazon's big issue with regards to, I can't imagine as big of a company is Amazon, the e-commerce giant, that the platform that they have, they cannot monitor, limit in terms of who is able to sell products on their platform. And there have been reports regarding fake reviews, which is a big problem. And then you have fake sellers selling counterfeit products. And in this case, in this latest article in Business Insider, someone was able to sell blank fake COVID-19 vaccine cards. Now, obviously, this has catastrophic implications if this were used in the wrong hands and people's lives are at stake, and people could be taken advantage and be misled that they're actually using legit documentations, and then the drugs that they're using is not actually real just to make a buck. And obviously this could be harmful to people, to us in general. And according to the article, there was listing of as much as 10 blank vaccine record cards. So you could just imagine if people were to get hold of this and use it to sell to the market, or whether in the hospital or to regular consumers here. Now, what Amazon is saying here, that that they do not allow the products in question in our store. They also stated that we have proactive measures in place to prevent prohibited products from being listed, and we continuously monitor our store. I don't know. And in this case, we have removed the items and taken actions on the bad actors involved in bypassing our controls here. Which goes back to my main point here. If they have proactive measures, then it shouldn't happen in the first place. The fact is that their measures is not enough to be able to combat uh, what do you call this? Uh, People who have malicious intent of selling fake products. You have sophisticated algorithms to understand, analyze customers' behavior. In this case, you can even anticipate bad actors, especially the sellers themselves. Maybe you need to put a more stricter policy in terms of how sellers can sell items in your platform, and not just wait after the fact that they've if it's easy enough to put their listings in your platform, and then wait after the fact that people would have reported. In this case, if people were to take an advantage and people get sick, or even worse, people would have died because of this listings of misleading people with regards to vaccine cards here. And obviously it goes way beyond. It's not just this. I mean, if it were counterfeit products that major brands are selling, could they go after Amazon for this one, for proliferating, allowing such things to happen? Now, obviously companies can't do that unless government steps in and say, or unless they violate a law that if they did not do their job, not able to protect the interests of the consumer, then they should be penalized, which is a I think it's a I won't say understandable, but I think it makes sense that if companies are not doing their job, what they're supposed to be, the fact that they're advertising one thing and then they're not able to do what they say is totally, what do you call this? Totally frustrating if you're a consumer here. That the fact that Amazon has been earning millions and billions, especially from last year. I'm sure they're earning an all-time high compared to previous years, and yet they cannot combat these fake sellers. In this case, if it weren't reported, and obviously there are always bad actors here. The point here is they should be able to stop it from the very beginning, not wait for those people to get inside your platform, then you're going to root out those bad actors, which is by then it's too late. That's not being proactive, that's being reactive in a sense, right? So, and I'm sure they could do a better job for a big company that they are. And they have problems not just with their consumers, with their employees, and then with their co-partners in this other sellers, which they're trying to compete as well. So it's an ongoing saga with Amazon here, for all the things that they bring benefit to the general public, but they also bring problems as well for for their monopolistic practices, obviously taking advantage of their position in the market here. But at the end of the day, it's all up to the government to decide with regards to their antitrust issue, whether it's fair for them to continue what they're doing, and now they're going to other industries, not just in the e-commerce platform. They're going into streaming services, and then you have the Blue Origin going into space, and so forth, and on and on and on. So you can just imagine they're going, they're devising their portfolio, getting bigger market share, bigger opportunity to be able to, corner the market, so to speak. Hopefully they could, rectify this. I mean, I don't think it's a unsolvable problem if they really want to push this agenda, so that, you know we don't want, people's lives at risk here with those fake COVID vaccine cards and so forth, right? Anyway, got too much ranting. Anyway, I think that concludes our business update for this week. Uh, Come back again on Wednesday for more business update. If you enjoy watching the video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Also, you can read the full article. I leave the description down below. As always, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.